Welcome everyone to the 23rd session on our topic of prayer. In today's session, as we delve into the topic of prayer, we are continuing to dive into the seven churches in Revelation chapter 2 and 3. To some, when we say we're talking about prayer and diving into these seven churches, that might seem strange. What is prayer, though? Prayer is more than just a petition of things we ask God to do. It is a conversation between man and God, right? Like, it is not just us speaking to God, but God will in return speak back. With that mentality, right? With that thought, with that perspective, in Revelation chapter 2 and 3, these seven churches, they become just absolute beautiful gems, right? Because they are written records of just like, there's like micro content of what like the heart of God says when he speaks. And there's like a consistent pattern that these follow. We get insight into the heart of God and insight into the way that he speaks. We are today, and that we are in this session looking at the Church of Philadelphia. And compared to the last two churches, the Church of Philadelphia, it is a breath of fresh air, right? Like the Church of Sardis and the Church of Thyatira, like they were hard, right? Like they were harsh, right? Like they were two churches that were not in like the best of spiritual conditions, for say, right? But the Church of Philadelphia, it's the complete opposite, right? Like the Church of Thyatira is just like complete like rebellion and like just in this broken state. Church of Philadelphia, it's the complete opposite. If you've walked through these sessions, and I'm sure you have, if you're watching this, you know what we're going to do. We're going to read the text of what the word says about the Church of Philadelphia, and then we're going to talk about it. So Revelation chapter 3, starting at verse 7, going through verse 13. And it says, "And to the angel of the Church of Philadelphia write these things, said he that is holy, he that is true, he that hath the key of David, he that openeth, and no man shutteth, and shutteth, and no man openeth. I know thy works. I've sat before thee an open door, and no man can shut it. For thou hast little strength, and hast kept my words, and hast not denied my name. Behold, I will make them of the synagogues of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and to worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. Because thou hast kept my words of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell on the earth. Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. Him that overcometh will I make a pillar in the temple of God, and shall go out no more. And I will write upon him the name of my God, and the name of my city of my God, which is New Jerusalem, which cometh down out of heaven from my earth. And I will write him upon my new name. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches." You know, as we have led in this series, right? Like, if we go back to like the founding basis on why we're doing this, right? Like, we go back to the Sermon on the Mount. We go back to the words that Jesus says in the Sermon on the Mount, right? Like, there will be people at judgment that Jesus will turn to and say, "Depart from me, I never knew you." They'll then get defensive. "But we did all these great things for you. We did these works, and we have this knowledge," right? But in the end, they don't know God. And we've been unraveling the topic of prayer, right? We've been unraveling this topic of prayer with like this scripture in mind, these words of Jesus in mind, right? Like we're approaching this topic with just this holy fear and holy reverence, saying, Jesus, I want to know you. The Church of Philadelphia is a beautiful promise of what happens when we walk this out, right? He says to them, I've opened this door before you, and no man can shut it. As he's talking, as Jesus is talking to these people, that he's saying, I've opened this door before them, right? He says to them, you have little strength. He's saying to them, you're weak. This kind of just like blows my mind, right? Like this is crazy to think about. Jesus is like, I've opened this door, no man can shut it. I've opened it. I have this door open and no man can shut it. This is a door I've set before you. And then right after he says, I've set this door before you and no man can shut it because I opened it, he says, you're weak. Verse 8, he says, you have little strength, but you've kept my word and you've not denied my name. And then he goes on to say, let's just walk this out, what Jesus says to him, right? He says, behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, say they are Jew, but are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before your feet, and to know that I have loved you. Like, pause. Let's break this down. So, Jesus says, I've put this door before you, and I've opened it, and nobody can shut it. As I've done this, you're weak. But you've kept my word, and you've not denied my name. And your enemies, I'll bring them to your feet and worship. And as they do, they will know that I, Jesus, love you who are weak. I, Jesus, who have set this door before you that no one can open. They will know that I love you who are weak, but you're faithful. You're true to me. I know you. Jesus isn't looking for strong and mighty people. He doesn't look for the competent and be like, because this person's competent and they've got it together, I set this door before you because you're competent, because you have answers. I set this door before you and no man can shut it. No, he finds the weak and the faithful. He finds those who dwell with him. You know, when we think about David, we think about like David the king, right? Like this mighty man of God. That's not who he was in the beginning of the story. He was a simple shepherd whose father was embarrassed of him. He hid him in a field when the prophet came to anoint the next king. David was weak, but he was faithful and true, and he had a heart that longed for God. Man, as we come to God in prayer, right? Like as we walk out prayer, as we discipline ourselves in prayer, don't discipline yourself to religious motions. Don't let your prayer be just motion. Don't let it be habitual. May your prayer be this authentic conversation between you and God, and may you keep His word and do not deny His name. Understand that as you come to God in prayer, you don't have to come in strength, but He accepts you in your weakness. Strength does not move God. It's the faithful He looks upon.